So, welcome. Today, I am very excited to discuss how the European Parliament are trailblazing learning and development programmes with the support of LinkedIn Learning. I'm Emma Jane, Government Lead for Benelux and Nordics at LinkedIn Learning, and I'm lucky enough to get to work with our government customers like the European Parliament to help identify skill gaps, help create a customised learning experience, and support blended learning.
Hi, my name is Sarita Kaukaja. I am from the European Parliament, Head of Learning and Development there, and I have been working in Brussels for more than 20 years now.
For a while. So, as part of your LinkedIn Learning team, it has been incredible to see the visionary work you and your team have done across the European Parliament over the past 6 months to engage employees and accelerate your learning and development programs during these unusual times. Why was this learning and development transformation so important?
Well, thank you. I mean, it's always nice to hear that people think that we are doing an incredible job. We are just trying to do our best. I think that there were several things that actually coincided. First of all, we did nothing because of the COVID, but let's say that every crisis has a silver lining. And for us, the silver lining was the fact that we have been always very strong in organizing face-to-face learning. I mean, for example, in 2019, we had 26,000 participants to our courses. So we have this appetite and hunger for learning. And for years, we tried to give our learners different ways of learning. But if you do one thing very good and people like it, it's very difficult to get new things through. So for us, this was a great opportunity, and we could deploy and have corporate licenses to everybody very fast. But the groundwork was already done. So we didn't come up with this all of a sudden as a COVID measure, but this is something that we wanted to do for a very long time, and it was a great opportunity and time to do it.
I think when we spoke previously, you said this was almost like an investment into the employees as well within the European Parliament. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Indeed, I think that the problem is very often, and I think everybody who works in learning and development will recognize themselves there. Very often, learning and development is considered to be something that you do when you have nothing better to do, or it's a kind of like a reward. I can't give you a promotion, but why don't you study a new language? Or it's a punishment. You are bad at something low. Let's put you in through some obligatory training. And I think all that is absolutely wrong. I think learning and development is a privilege. It is something that, especially let's say on a public sector, what do we actually have? We have people, and if our people are not up to date to do the things we want them to do, what else do you have? So I think it's really an investment that you have to do for your employers, and it's one of the most strategic things that you need to do in order to keep your workforce up to date.
I think a big contribution to your success has been your ability to create and implement a culture of learning. And it's kind of one of the biggest challenges a lot of our customers have. Can you walk us through how you have been so successful in doing this?
I don't think there is one key thing. I think there's a combination of several things. I think, first of all, middle management is the key in that sense that your organization, the position of the middle management is the most important thing, in a sense that I think one of the key jobs of management is to develop their staff, to see where are the skill gaps and how to fill them, and how to actually encourage your colleagues to learn. Of course, it doesn't always happen in a classroom or in LinkedIn Learning even, but it's just kind of like a development mindset towards your staff, and I think that is the one of the key components, and that's also one of the key components of the middle management of the parliament. However, there are other things. First of all, we have a very skilled workforce, and people, of course, I mean, why do people want to learn things? They want to get better at things. So you have to also make the learning offer very attractive. So you have to make sure that whatever you offer is the best possible quality, because you have to have 10 great training opportunities to compensate on one which people thought it was a waste of their time. Um, Communication is also the key. People need to know what is out there. But I think that one of the key things is to create kind of sense of scarcity. Not everything is available to you all the time. So for example, when we have our catalog, we keep on refreshing it all the time. So you have this feeling like, if I don't get it now, it might not be available in a year's time or even in 6 months' time. So there are several of these elements that you have to put in place. So it's not just one thing, but it's a combination of all of them.
Excellent. So I know you already had a very strategic approach to learning and development within the European Parliament, but COVID has meant that organisations have had to transform and accelerate to cater for changing needs kind of quickly. Could you provide some insights into what other organisations can do that you've had success in?
I think one thing was quite key in a sense that we didn't do any kind of panic solutions, in a sense that we said, okay, you never have time to think, but we said, okay, let's take now a couple of weeks and let's really think what makes sense and where do we start first. So, of course, we started immediately. How do we make sure that teleworking will be a success? How do we make sure that people don't burn out or bore out at home, depending on a little bit what kind of tasks they were doing? How do we help? We were focusing again a lot on managers, like how do we help now managers to manage remote teams or hybrid teams, or making sure that nobody forgets. So we were really being very mindful about what do we do first. And we also decided that we will not change all the content that we had before in our catalog into virtual. It also gave us an opportunity to experiment with things. Again, like I said, people don't necessarily have the appetite for change. For example, we rethought language learning a lot, and I'm not sure that we will ever go back to language learning the way it was before. So in a sense that whatever we did, there were several courses that, for example, we will keep them virtual even in the future. For example, how to run effective virtual meetings. There's no better way to do that than actually do it virtually. Or, how to train the trainer when you actually have to present something in virtual setting. So all this, we will keep it virtually even when we can go back to a classroom one day.
One of the programs that you've ran that I really love your approach is having a look at career mobility within government. So customizing a learning experience so individuals are actually engaged. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Well, this is not yet, it's not yet fully fledged, but this is where we want to go, in a sense that we have about 135 different jobs in the parliament, which might become as a surprise. We have everything from medical doctors to architects to lawyers to truck drivers to you name it, we probably have it. So you cannot have this one size fits all. And therefore, I think that in particular, when you then take learning in more virtual setting, it's much, much easier then to start customizing. Of course, the most difficult thing right now is to really say what are the skills and competencies that each and every job has. And I think this is the most difficult thing to identify. And we are in the middle of it. I can't say it's all done and it's perfect, but this is the way to go. So when you have identified which are the key skills and competencies for each and every job, then it's much easier then to create a personalized learning path.
Mm.
It's also this idea of critical mass. We are trying to get, we started, let's say, with a group of champions. We had, let's say, the trailblazers, the people that, have a great reputation, who were passionate about learning. So we had about a group of 100 people throughout the whole parliament, not just in a learning and development, who were kind of talking about it and bringing people along, making recommendations. So this is how you can get things rolling. So this kind of like ambassador approach works with projects.
Excellent. Finally, what piece of advice can you give to other learning and development leaders who are looking to create meaningful learning and development engagements within their organization? It's a big ask.
It's a big ask. I think the most important thing is that you have to get onto the table where strategic decisions are taken. Learning and development cannot be an afterthought. It cannot be something that, the management board makes decisions, and at the end of the day, when they have bought a new software, they're like, oh yeah, training. No. I think that you have to be there on a proactive approach when people are talking about, what are the strategic goals of organization to the next 2 to 5 years. And then you have to be there asking the right questions, like, okay, I can see that's where you want to go, but do we actually have the people skills to go there? And if we don't have the people, if we don't have the right people in the right place, what are our options? Can we just recruit new people, which most likely will be a no? So this is the people what we have. These are the skills they have. They might not have the skills that you need in 5 years' time. So that's where you step in as a learning and development professional and say, well, guys, I actually have a solution for you.
Excellent.
I think this is kind of like how you get to the table where decisions are taken.